This book I wrote for children all over the world, and it says, Stand up, be brave, and answer the call for justice. You are the hope for our collective future. Unpopular opinion number one: peanut butter, pickle, and potato chip sandwiches are the best. Unpopular opinion number two: bats are cool. Wait, what? You think bats are disgusting and dirty? No way. Never. I mean, I guess a lot of people feel that way. Even I, possibly the biggest bat fan ever, used to be scared of bats and thought they were pretty gross, but that's so not true. My teacher, Miss Madison, told us that she used to feel that way too. I think it's because her mom used to tell her that bats would get tangled in her hair. But who knows? Speaking of my teacher, she is the best teacher ever. But shh, don't tell all the other teachers. I don't want them to feel bad. So, what changed my mind about bats? It all started at the beginning of first grade. After the usual stuff you do when you start a new grade, Miss Madison began to read books to us about making a difference in the world. We all thought, great stories, Miss Madison. But she actually wanted us to change the world. What was she thinking? I mean, we were only 6 years old. We couldn't even decide to have ice cream for breakfast or stay up late. She wanted us to change the world? That was way too much for us kids. So, Miss Madison shared books, magazines, and videos about kids who changed the world in all kinds of ways. She told us it didn't matter how old we were. When you see an injustice, no matter how big or small, stand up, be brave, and answer the call. We were blown away. We couldn't believe what some kids have done. Kids just like us. We were hooked. Miss Madison had convinced us that we could do it. Now that we believed, we were ready to get started. Miss Madison told us the first thing we needed to do was figure out what change we wanted to make. What did we think wasn't right in the world? Step one to change the world: pick your topic. We decided that we wanted to help bats. One of my friends in our class really loves nature and told us that bats need our help. We weren't so sure because most of us were scared of bats, but after we heard a little bit about them, we changed our minds. Step two to change the world: learn everything you can about your topic. First, we read books about bats. I read my own at home and shared them with my class. I live on a farm, and mom and dad told me bats are a huge help to farmers like us. They eat insects that hurt our crops, especially corn. That saves us lots of money and keeps us from having to put so many pesticides on our crops. Then we watched videos with scientists teaching us about bats. Miss Madison even messaged one of the bat scientists called chiropterologists. The scientist said she would talk with us on the computer. Last, we explored bat websites and discovered bats are not blind. Some have a special skill called echolocation to help them see in the dark. With blindfolds on, we tried to find our friends to experience what it is like to use echolocation. After we learned about bats, we knew we had to help them. But how? They're in danger from diseases and lots of things humans do. Many people think they're bad news, but they do so much for us. Step three to change the world: decide on your action. Miss Madison told us we should pick one thing to do to try to help the bats. We decided to make posters. We could hang the posters at school, the coffee shop, the public library, and more. Step four to change the world: act. We used our posters to persuade people to build bat houses. If you're like us, you might be wondering why that's important. By giving bats a safe, warm place to live, you'll cut down on the number of annoying and harmful pest insects in your area, like mosquitoes. Less stinky bug spray? Yes. Most bats only have one baby, called a pup, each year, so their population grows slowly. Bat houses give moms and their pups a place to be safe because their natural habitats are often ruined by deforestation. They need safe places to live. But we couldn't stop there. We wanted to do more. Our persuasive posters worked so well that we convinced Miss Madison to let us build a bat house. It would hang by our school to help the bats and keep mosquitoes off our playground. Miss Madison told us if we wanted to do that, we had to get permission from the people in charge. So she set up a meeting. We wrote speeches and practiced them in class. The day of the meeting, we were so nervous. We gave our speeches, and the people who make decisions about our schools asked us questions. In the end, they said we could hang the bat house on our school. Miss Madison was beaming. We invited our families and school friends to join us for a fancy ceremony. We spoke about why bats aren't so important, and everyone cheered as the custodian hung the bat house. Since we were on a roll, we kept going. We had learned about symbolically adopting bats, which is a way to show you care. We asked Miss Madison if we could raise money to adopt a bat, and she said yes. Miss Madison wasn't too hard to convince. We asked our friends and family to donate money, and we were able to adopt two bats, a Mexican free-tailed bat and a Bechstein's bat. At first, we thought that we would get a real bat, but Miss Madison told us why that would be a bad idea. Wild animals should not be pets. Step 5 to change the world: reflect. Every time I look out at the night sky, I know we made a difference for our community, including bats. They are so important to humans and the environment. We did it. We saw an injustice, no matter how big or small. We stood up, were brave, and answered the call. We were justice kids. Step 6 to change the world: decide what you want to do next. So while peanut butter pickle and potato chip sandwiches are still an unpopular choice, our class now has some popular opinions. Bats are cool. And kids should keep working together to make change. I can't wait to see what we do next.